Arike and her husband Emeka were blessed. They had 3 beautiful children, a boy, the eldest, followed by 2 girls. Laughter filled their home. Joy echoed in their hearts. Yet, something was missing. They had forgotten the power of prayer. Their faith had waned. Life was comfortable, and they no longer felt the need to seek guidance from above. Emeka worked hard to provide for his family. He believed that his own strength was enough. Arike focused on caring for the children and tending to the house. She had little time for anything else. The children, young and carefree, followed their parents' lead. They embraced the material world. Their spiritual needs lay dormant. Life was good, but it was built on shaky ground. Without a strong foundation of faith, they were vulnerable. They were like a house without a roof, exposed to the coming storm. Little did they know, darkness was lurking just around the corner. Nneka lived alone. She watched Arike's family with a mixture of longing and resentment. She yearned for the happiness that they seemed to possess so effortlessly. Nneka's heart was filled with bitterness. She had lost her own husband and child years ago. Her grief festered, twisting into an ugly envy. One day, Nneka visited a native doctor. She sought solace for her pain, a way to mend her broken heart. But the doctor offered a darker solution. He gave her a charm, a potent mixture of herbs and bones. He promised it would bring her peace. Instead, it awakened the darkness within her. The doctor whispered, "This charm will bring you peace, but it comes at a price. It will redirect your pain, not erase it." Nneka, consumed by her jealousy, failed to heed his words. She was blinded by her desire for revenge. She envisioned Arike's family suffering as she had suffered. This cruel fantasy took root in her mind, growing stronger with each passing day. Nneka devised a plan. She would use the charm to poison Arike's family. She would bake them a delicious meal, lacing it with the deadly concoction. It would be the perfect act of vengeance, cloaked in an offering of kindness. She prepared a rich stew, her heart a storm of conflicting emotions. There was a flicker of guilt, a whisper of doubt, but it was quickly silenced by the overwhelming desire for retribution. As she stirred the pot, the charm dissolved into the broth, its evil magic seeping into the food. The aroma of the stew wafted through the air, reaching Arike's house. It was an irresistible invitation, a deceptive promise of comfort and flavor. Nneka presented the food to Arike with a warm smile, masking her true intentions. She had set her plan in motion, unaware of the karmic backlash that awaited her. The poison, she would soon learn, was not confined to the stew alone. It had already begun to corrode her own soul. Section 4. A Mother's Faith, Arike's Solitary Prayer. Before serving the food, Arike paused. A long-forgotten instinct stirred within her. She felt a sudden urge to pray. She quietly excused herself and retreated to her room. Kneeling beside her bed, she closed her eyes. The words came haltingly at first, rusty from disuse. But as she poured out her heart, a sense of peace enveloped her. She prayed for her husband's well-being, for the health and happiness of her children. She asked for guidance and protection, unaware of the danger that lurked so close. Unseen, unheard by human ears, a force enveloped Arike and her room. Her simple act of faith had activated a shield of protection. The power of her prayer formed an invisible barrier, a testament to the strength of a mother's love and her connection to the divine. Section 5. The Agony Unfolds, a Family Struck by Illness. When Arike returned, her family was eagerly waiting. They devoured the food with gusto, their faces filled with delight. Emeka praised Nneka's culinary skills, oblivious to the evil that hid beneath the surface. The children, too young to be cautious, ate with carefree abandon. Only Arike abstained, her heart still filled with the peace of her recent prayer. As the evening progressed, a strange silence descended upon the house. The laughter ceased. The children, usually full of boundless energy, grew quiet and withdrawn. Emeka, his face pale and drawn, complained of a searing pain in his stomach. Panic surged through Arike as she watched her family succumb to the poison. Their moans filled the air, each gasp a dagger to her heart. She desperately tried to understand what was happening, her mind racing to make sense of the sudden illness that had gripped her loved ones. Section 6. A Race Against Time, Despair and Hope in the Hospital. The hospital was a whirlwind of activity. Doctors and nurses rushed around, their faces etched with concern. Arike sat beside her husband's bed, her hand clutching his cold and clammy fingers. The children, hooked up to machines and monitors, looked frail and vulnerable. Guilt gnawed at Arike's heart. She questioned her faith, her lapse in prayer. She berated herself for not recognizing the danger, for not protecting her family. The weight of their suffering pressed down on her, threatening to crush her spirit. As the night wore on, a sense of despair settled over the room. The doctors' faces, grim and tight-lipped, offered little comfort. Arike clung to the memory of her prayer, a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. She prayed again, this time with a fervor she had never known. She pleaded for a miracle, for the strength to endure, for the survival of her family.